Earthquake risk. New fault has been discovered in the earthquake-prone Southern California region. They're always being discovered. We just recently had another one discovered in Alaska. They didn't even know it was there until the earthquake took place, which was a megathrust earthquake. This is dated October 2016, but it's important because of the fact that this is the area that's getting all these quake swarms lately, especially after the Ridgecrest quakes. A summary of a swarm of nearly 200 small quakes shook Southern California residents' Salton Sea area, raising concerns they might trigger a larger earthquake on the southern San Andreas Fault. Same time, scientists published their recent discovery of a potentially significant fault that lies along the eastern edge of the Salton Sea. As we know, that is a volcanic area, and it's got mud volcanoes. It also has a geothermal plant there. And Salton Sea volcanic area goes along across the US-Mexican border, and the Mexicans also have another geothermal plant right there as well. So in effect, there are at least two geothermal plants that we know of trying to sponge out the energy from that area. Earthquake risk. New fault discovered. 200 small quakes caused this discovery. San Andreas Fault, southern part. At the same time, scientists from Scripps Institution of Oceanography, University of California, San Diego, and the Nevada Seismological Laboratory, University of Nevada, Reno, published their recent discovery of potentially significant fault that lies along the eastern edge of the Salton Sea. The presence of the newly mapped Salton Trough Fault, which runs parallel to the San Andreas Fault, could impact current seismic hazard models in the earthquake-prone region that includes the greater Los Angeles area. And as we just said, we had a 4 magnitude at just 1 kilometer east-southeast of Wildomar, California. And as of now, as I'm talking to you, even more people have claimed that they felt it. I think it's up to right now 4,800 people have felt it. 4,800 people. All of Los Angeles has felt it, first of all, from the shape map. So this is the area that we're talking about. The Salton Trough Fault. Mapping of earthquake faults provide important information for earthquake rupture and ground shaking models, helping protect lives and reduce property loss, of course, from these natural hazards. The National Science Foundation funded study appears in October 2016 issue of the journal Bulletin of the Seismological Society of America. To aid in accurately assessing seismic hazard and reducing risk in tectonically active region, it's crucial to correctly identify and locate faults before earthquakes happen. This is what Valerie Shakanian, Scripps alumni, lead author of the study, says. The research team used a suite of instruments including multi-channel seismic data, ocean bottom seismometers, and light detection and ranging, or LIDAR, to precisely map the deformation within the various sediment layers in and around the sea's bottom. They imagined the newly identified strike slip fault within the Salton Sea, just west of the San Andreas Fault. The location of the fault in the eastern Salton Sea has made imaging it difficult, and there is no associated small seismic events, which is why the fault was not detected earlier. This is what Scripps geologist Neil Driscoll said, the lead principal investigator of the NSF-funded project and co-author of the study. Driscoll said, "We employed the marine seismic equipment to define the deformation patterns beneath the sea that constrained the location of the fault. Recent studies have revealed that the region has experienced magnitude 7 earthquakes roughly every 175 to 200 years for the last 1,000 years. A major rupture on the southern portion of the San Andreas Fault has not occurred in the last 300 years. So we're over 100 years overdue. This is my comment. Now, I'm not fear-mongering. I'm reading a scientific article that has been published in geological journals. A new fault has been found. The region has experienced 7 magnitude earthquakes roughly every 175 to 200 years, and the last time this ruptured was over 300 years ago. Going on with the article, the extended nature of time since the most recent earthquake on southern San Andreas has been puzzling to the earth science community, said Nevada State seismologist Graham Kent, co-author of the study and former Scripps researcher. He says, based on the deformation patterns, this new fault has accommodated some of the strain from the larger San Andreas system, so without having a record of past earthquakes on this new fault, it's really difficult to determine whether this fault interacts with the southern San Andreas Fault at depth or in time. The findings provide much needed information on the intricate structure of earthquake faults beneath the sea and what role it may play in the earthquake cycle along the southern end of the San Andreas Fault. Further research will help provide information into how the newly identified fault interacts with the southern San Andreas Fault, which may offer new insights into the more than 300-year period since the most recent earthquake. He said, we need further studies to better determine the location and character of this fault, as well as the hazard posed by this structure, said Sakin, currently a postdoctoral fellow at the U.S. Geological Survey's Earthquake Science Center. The patterns of deformation beneath the sea, meaning the Salton Sea volcano, suggests that the newly identified fault has been long-lived, and it's important to understand its relationship to the other fault systems in this geologically complicated region. Scripps researcher Alistair Harding and Nevada Seismological Laboratory seismologist and outreach specialist Annie Kell also contributed to the study. Journal reference is Valerie Sahakian, Annie Kell, Alistair Harding, Neil Driscoll, and Graham Kent. Geophysical evidence for the San Andreas subparallel transtensional fault along the northeastern shore of the Salton Sea. Materials provided by Scripps Institution of Oceanography. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.